To begin with, I would like to acknowledge the effort of individual governments, development partners, civil society organizations, and faith-based organizations for their continued support towards our TCASA response and relief effort. More than a month ago, our fellow Fijians in Vanuatu felt the wrath of TCASA as it wreaked havoc across the Northern Division, leaving devastating impacts of their homes, lives, livestock, and infrastructure. Today, we are doing the exact same thing we did back then to our fellow Fijians with a looming weather that is currently approaching us. While the prevailing condition is anticipated to worsen in the coming days, it is critical that we use this time to prepare our families, our loved ones, and especially to those that are more vulnerable. Ensure that your emergency kits are ready and update yourself with information about the current weather situation. As proactive measure, Commissioner Norton and his team from yesterday have been on the ground dismantling tents as a precaution for the forecasted adverse weather condition. I would also like to thank the engineers of the RFMF assisting us in dismantling tents in 8 schools in the Northern Division. We have received confirmations of strong winds and heavy rain causing floods in low-lying areas across Vanuatu. Should the need arise, please move now to your nearest evacuation center while it is still daylight. I can confirm that we have now 3 evacuation centers now open, 1 in Rambi, 1 in Naweni Savusavu, and 1 in Reketi Maduata. The Fiji Meteorological Service has issued a tropical cyclone alert for the Fiji group. Furthermore, flood warning and flash flood alerts for low-lying areas in most parts of the country. We continue to plead with members of the public to stay away from any flooded rivers, streams, and walkways. We also urge motorists to refrain from crossing any flooded roads and exercise caution while out using our roads. We ask all farmers to take all necessary measures to reduce any risk to life and their property. Farmers are urged to keep their animals, machines, and farm implements away from any flooded areas and secure their livestock sheds, and where possible, move planting materials to higher ground so that they can be used after water recede. As it is, we will continue to ask residents in affected areas to store water and food and practice good hygiene. It is also important to keep your surrounding clean. This is to reduce the risk of outbreak on leptospirosis, typhoid, dengue, and diarrhea. Finally, as released by Ministry of Education a couple of minutes ago, all schools in Fiji will be closed from tomorrow. Just repeating that. All schools in Fiji will be closed from tomorrow. And we would like to conclude that on behalf of the Fijian government, please continue to monitor the current weather situation, and should you need to move to the nearest evacuation center, please call the Fiji Police Force on 917 for guidance. Together, we endured TCASA, and together we will overcome this next hurdle. Vinaka, and stay safe, Fiji. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take.
Sorry, Lena from FBC. I just wanted to ask, just a couple of hours ago, we contacted the Fiji Met, and according to Mr. Pereira Clifford, the impending cyclone is to move over the level. Has there been any update on what the chances are of it affecting the capital city?
Again, that question is best answered by Director Met. As per our discussion prior coming down, the tropical cyclone, once named and developed, the cyclone track path will be issued by them. For me, it's a bit premature for me to mention the division that will be severely affected. We will wait on Director Met's cyclone path to forecast what is at stake for the Fijian people.
And just following up after that, you've got squatter settlements as well. I understand there have been evacuation centers that have been open. Just to reiterate, what are the plans for those living in squatter settlements if it is to affect the delivery?
The Fijian government state of readiness plan has always been the same. It was activated during TCASA, where the need be, if you are in a squattal settlement or informal settlement, if you need to move because you see that it's no longer safe to be at home, please call 917, that's the police, to guide you to your nearest evacuation center. There are other platforms where you can access your nearest evacuation center. That is already being pushed out by the NDMO. And also, there are other means that you can reach out to us to help you identify your nearest evacuation center.
Organizations and stakeholders recently, they multi-stakeholder team, I think they place in division. Have they been advised to stop on the work that they're doing as the system is approaching?
In the Northern Division?
In the Northern Division, the team that was sent to the Eastern Division recently.
So for the Eastern Division, because the current weather condition and the advice that we've received from Director Met, our vessel that's currently berthed in Fulanga will remain in Fulanga until the weather passes, for the safetyness of our officers on the boat. For the Northern Division, there's continuous discussions with stakeholders and partners with Commissioner Northern, who guides them on the work that they're doing. But a lot of these things, I would say, it's common sense. If need be that you see it's no longer safe for you to go out, please refrain from doing so. And if you need guidance, the Fiji Police Force is there. The Commissioner's officers are there, as well as the NDMO is there to help you, guide you through this process.
You mentioned that there are 3 active evacuation centers. Will you be able to disclose with us number of evacuees that are currently sheltering in these evacuation centers?
I don't have the numbers right now. I still have the team on the ground still trying to ascertain the total number of evacuees. However, I just have for you this evening the number of evacuation centers that are now open.
Which evacuation centers? What mechanism does NDMO have to protect the vulnerable against incident, possible incidents of sexual violence? Was an incident in Sanganga what mechanism have been put in place to prevent this?
For Fijian government, we have our standard operating procedure for evacuation centers. One of the key component or one of our key stakeholders is the Fiji Police Force. As we speak, when evacuation centers are open, the Fiji Police Force move in and man the evacuation center. And the lesson, in this case in Sankanga, we are further tightening that level of security to the evacuation center.
Is there going to activate the evacuation centers around the country?
The evacuation center will open when the need arises. It's there for the people. It will open if if the people needs to move in there because their homes are no longer safe. That's why the evacuation center are there.
I'm sure my question is, since the flood warning alerts and all, will the bus service operations still be on, or is it on?
We don't have any restrictions at the moment with regards to public transport. However, I plea with bus companies to please analyze your situation and do not put your drivers or the public at risk. If you see that your route is no longer safe, please, at your own accord, stop your services from going. However, there is no restrictions from public transport to stop as we speak.